Hello, everybody. And today I want to talk to you about who do you have to become to be successful in business and to be successful in life, really. Now, people who teach manifestation, they tell you that to get what you want, you must become the type of person who has what you want. And now I know a lot of you out there have worked really hard to get the success of your business, to find the fulfillment in your life, to get the things that you want. You've spent probably a lot of time, money, and energy trying to become that person, the person that succeeds. You're always trying to do better, be better, but you're still not quite where you want to be. So if that sounds anything like you, you're going to want to listen to this episode. Now, in this episode, I'm going to go over why most people who are following this formula, become who you must be to get the things that you want, are doing it wrong, and how that actually will keep creating the opposite results of what you want. I'm going to show you, teach you, tell you how to make the formula work for you so that you can have the wealth, the fulfillment, and the satisfaction you desire and you deserve. So, first off, I need to tell you that most people are focused on the traits that they must embody to become successful. And when we're talking about the traits that all successful people have, the most successful people have, there's a long list of them. Some of them are consistent, disciplined, resilient, adaptable. You must continuously learn. You have to have integrity, be clear, focus. You have to have good communication. And those are just the tip of the iceberg. They say if you become all of those things, you'll surely be successful, right? So everybody's focused on, I have to become consistent. I have to become disciplined. I have to become resilient. But you can do those things. You can push yourself to do those things. But will you be happy? Will you be fulfilled? Maybe. Who knows? It depends on if you do it right. Yes, of course, the most successful people have these traits in common, but focusing on the traits themselves will not, I repeat, will not make you become a person who has that trait. What do I mean? You're like, Genea, you're saying confusing things. What do you mean? Well, most people, they tell themselves, I need to, I have to, or I should do X, Y, Z. So I need to do these things consistently in my business every day. I need to, I mean, even think about this of like losing weight or something. I have to exercise consistently. I have to eat the right foods consistently. It's the same with business. You have to do the right things consistently, day in and day out. And eventually things will start to add up and your business will start to work and poof, everybody's happy. And so to do all of those things, to be consistent, disciplined, resilient, focused, blah, 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 people will use supplements. They'll beat themselves up and power through and force themselves to do it. They'll use time management systems. They'll have coaches to hold them accountable. And they'll endlessly consume knowledge. And even with all of this effort, they still don't end up having the results that they want. So why is this? They're doing all the things. They're doing all the things, trying to be consistent, trying to have those traits that surely you must have, and you must become the person who does those things in order to be successful. Okay, so I'm going to start here with a story. Now, I know somebody who was overweight and they were bullied when they were young. I'm sure this is relatable to many people. Maybe not the overweight, maybe not the bullied, one or the other, or both. But they, of course, didn't want to be bullied for obvious reasons. So he set out to become the type of person who doesn't get bullied. So he lost the weight and he started taking martial arts classes. Now he became dangerous, strong, tough. He became all the things that he thought he should be to stop the bullying. And yes, losing the weight gave him some confidence. And learning how to fight gave him the confidence to face his bullies and squash them. And that was fine for a while. It was better even than it was before. But it didn't make people treat him well. Now they were just afraid of him. And as he grew into an adult, he started a business. And he was very loyal to people who helped them, but he would squash people who went against him. He was still on guard all of the time, just like he was when he was younger, overweight, and getting bullied all the time. He was constantly looking for the threat and being on guard, ready to squash it. And not surprisingly, he still attracted haters, but now they were online, so he couldn't go beat them up. But he did employ the same bully back tactics that he used when he was younger. He squashed them. He would bully right back and squash them. And he's really smart. So he would wiggle his way into angles and he would squash them with his words and with his intellect, make them feel small, make people turn against them. So he would get hated on and then he would bully right back, even better, stronger, harder. But in the long run, he doesn't realize that this is hurting his business. He doesn't even see it. All he knows is somebody comes after him, he squashes them, and he thinks he's safe. But this keeps happening. And when things keep happening, there's something going on that if you're willing to look at it, you're doing something to create it. This strategy, though, is hurting his business and he doesn't even see it. Now, I'm not saying there's not a time and a place when you have to fight back, but most of the time there's another way. And a lot of the martial arts masters, they have evolved themselves enough that they can see the other pathways. But most people, when they're stuck in this anger, they can only see the pathway of squash back, hit back, fight back. So you want to evolve yourself, no matter what, to the place where you can see other methods to dealing with people who are, quote, attacking you. So the ways this is hurting his business, and he doesn't even see it, is his friendships and his partnerships are built on a premise of you're either with me or against me. And that's great until you disagree with him. And if you have a disagreement with him, then are you going to be the next one that gets squashed? The next one that gets bullied? The next one that gets beat up and left out on the street? Another way that it affects this business is the fact that people notice what you do. And people who don't like the bully squash methods, they will be repelled by his behavior. So he's automatically turning people off from his business. Sure, there are people who like it, and they're also, surprise, surprise, similar type of people who like to bully and squash other people. So he is going to attract more people, more customers, more partnerships of people who are just like him. And he's not always going to be the smartest or the toughest person in the room. He's not always going to be the one who wins. So this kind of behavior creates enemies. And the more successful you get, the more likely you are to have some haters and some people coming at you. But there are super successful people who aren't hated by tons and tons of people. You look at Warren Buffett. And sure, there's been a little conflicts here and there, but they're like one-off little personal things. He doesn't have like a big chunk of the population hating on who he is. Oprah is another one. And these people aren't weak. These people are just not bothered by the stupid haters and the people who are trying to bully and enroll them into their bullshit. They're just unbothered. And when you try to bully somebody who is unbothered by you and your bullying, it gets real boring real fast. So most of the time, you stop. Whereas you look at other billionaires who tend to fight back and squash, those billionaires tend to have a lot of people, a lot of conflict, a lot of people who are hating on them. And sure, yes, they are successful and they have a ton of money. But I go back to that question. Are they at peace? Do they have fulfillment, satisfaction? Are they happy? Or is everything in their life about having to squash the next threat? So another way this kind of behavior affects your business is you tend to influence through fear instead of trust. And influencing through fear means that you're typically making short-term decisions instead of looking at long-term results. So this person that I'm talking about, he has to operate in a world where he is top dog. And so this is great in one way because it pushes him to keep growing and keep expanding and trying to get better and better and better. But he's not going to feel comfortable interacting with people who are better, smarter, more well-liked, tougher than he is. He's going to feel small, just like he did when he was getting bullied. And all that work that he did, he worked so hard, but he did not become someone who does not get bullied. He just became someone who can fight back. So who would he need to be? Who would he need to become to not get bullied in life or business? Well, I'm glad you asked. So first off, he would need to become someone who doesn't react with emotion when attacked. So the martial arts masters, when they really become masters, they don't respond with emotion. If they need to fight back, they do, but it's not an emotional decision. Anger doesn't take over them. So for this person, for this friend of mine to not get bullied in life or business, first thing they would need to be is someone who doesn't react when they're attacked. And so we dig deeper because that's not enough to start working on that piece of you. You can say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to just sit here and hold in these emotions when somebody attacks me, and I'm going to try not to do anything. But inside, you're feeling all this anger and fear, and you're pissed off, frankly. So who does he have to be to become somebody who doesn't react with emotion when he gets attacked? Well, then he would have to be someone who doesn't take things personally. And so we dig deeper, because the deeper we can dig at this, the more we can find something to actually work on and shift one step at a time. So who does he have to be to become somebody who doesn't take things personally? Well, he would have to become someone who truly, I mean, for real, doesn't care what other people think. And who would he have to be that kind of person who doesn't care what other people think? Well, he would have to be somebody who operates without fear. Okay, let's take it deeper. Who would he have to be somebody who operates without fear? Well, he would have to be somebody who has neutralized his fear. That makes sense, right? So, who would he have to be to neutralize his fear? Well, then he would have to be somebody who's willing to look deep and face their deepest fears. And who would he have to be that? Somebody who's brave enough to face themselves and those deepest fears. So you can see right now, to become somebody who doesn't get bullied in life or business, he needs to become somebody who's willing to face his fears. And then he has to face them, neutralize them, and go up that chain. But he has to start by facing the fears. And part of that becomes, right, the next level is he has to admit what he's afraid of. And that's a big one for a lot of people. So if you're brave enough to face yourself and admit what you're afraid of, that's a really good start, because then you can deal with that particular fear. And then you just keep neutralizing your fears. And there are ways you can do that. You can work with people. I use advanced mental techniques to neutralize fear so that it's a lot faster and easier than other ways. But the thing is he did not become the person who faced his fears. He became the person who was brave enough to face other people. And he remained a person with fear. So it didn't create the outcome that he truly wanted. Like I said, he became somebody who could fight back. He didn't become someone who doesn't get bullied anymore. Now, to get what you want, each person will need to be something a little bit different, because we're all starting at different places. You are you with your qualities and traits and fears and things. And I am me with my qualities and traits and fears and things. And so we're not going to need to necessarily be the same person. We're not going to need to become the same type of person in order to get the things we want, because who you are operating as is different than who I am operating as. So let's take consistency, because we know that is a big one for business success. You have to be consistent if you're going to become successful over time. That's just a fact. So who do you have to be to become consistent? So maybe for you, you would have to become certain. So now you ask yourself, if you're certain, would you be consistent? Like maybe you have a lot of indecision and you second guess and you doubt a lot. So if you were certain, would you become consistent? Then you go deeper and ask, okay, so who do you have to be certain? Maybe the answer is a person who doesn't let anything distract you. Okay, let's go deeper. Who would you have to be that? You might have to be a person who's able to withstand the uncomfortable feelings of doubt and stay on the path anyway, no matter how crazy your brain gets. And so if you think about that, when you think about the consistency, what you actually have to deal with is those uncomfortable feelings of doubt and be able to withstand them. So what is it that you need to do to withstand them? Do you need to work with somebody to go deeper and find out what's causing that doubt? That would be the next level. Like, what is it that you have to do to deal with that? And then dealing with that would lead you to being certain, which if you felt certain, you would be more consistent. For somebody else, they might need to become aligned to be consistent. Maybe they have a tendency to do everything that other people want them to do, and it doesn't fit with who they truly are or what they truly want. So maybe for them to be consistent, they would need to be aligned and have the things that they're working on be aligned with what they like to do and their true values and what feels good. So for them to be aligned, who would they have to be aligned? Well, first of all, they would have to be a person who knows what they want and what they like. And then who would they have to be a person who knows what they want and what they like? And that may seem obvious to some people. Of course, you know what you like and what you want. But for a lot of people, they don't. If I say to some people, if nobody else was in the world and you could do whatever you want, what would you want to do? A lot of people have a hard time with that question because they don't actually know, because at a subconscious level, they've been doing everything because of what other people think that they should do. So to be a person who knows what they want and what they like, who would you have to be to do that? Well, you would have to be a person who understands what's truly important to you and not let any outside influences sway you. And so who would you have to be that? And an answer could be a person who has found a way to tap into their deepest truths and desires. So then we can realize that it's not about being consistent for this particular person. It's about figuring out how to tap into their deepest truths and desires. Remember, I just said, I can ask that question: if all the people in the world were gone and it was just you, what would you want to do? A lot of people have trouble with that question because they don't know how to tap into their deepest truths and desires. And so before you invest in some other strategy or something to help you be more consistent or have your coach hold you accountable, maybe you want to hire a coach that will help you tap into your deepest truths and desires. Because once you know that, you can become more aligned, which will help you become more consistent. So if you become a person who can withstand those uncomfortable feelings and stay on the path, if you're lacking certainty to be consistent, or you become that person who can tap into their deepest truths and desires, if you're lacking that alignment, your result will be consistency. So this is how you become a consistent person. And you have to just keep digging till you can find something that you can actually work on. Each level will get you to a deeper place, a little bit more nuance, and you can work on that thing, which will help you work on the level above it and the level above it and the level above it until you create the consistency or the resilience or the tenacity or what adaptability, whatever trait it is that you know that you're lacking to be that successful person. So, like in the beginning, we uncovered one person needed alignment, one person needed certainty. And now those are really big. So, like in each case, we dug deeper so that we could find something that was a little more manageable to work on. So for the one person, it's uncovering the deeper truths and desires, and the other person, it's figuring out how to be comfortable with the feelings of doubt and staying on the path no matter what. And that becomes something that is manageable to work on. So to become the person you need to be successful, you need to look at what are the traits that you're lacking in or not that great at, and dig deeper to who you have to become to have that trait. It's basically this point where if you have with these two people, if you have certainty and you have alignment, then consistency is inevitable. So you're looking for the things that would make the trait inevitable. Got it? Okay. It's quite simple once you actually dig down to the nitty gritty. So all these people with the manifestation things, they're working on who I have to be. You have to stop working on the trait itself and you have to dig deeper so that you get to who it is that you have to be so that that trait becomes inevitable. It's simple once you actually know what you need to focus on. And that's half the problem. And they always say that A problem well defined is a problem half solved. So I've just given you the tools to do that. Okay. Thank you all for listening. If you haven't gotten my free guide, that is how to grow your business and love doing it, because again, we're not looking just for the wealth. We want the wealth, we want the money, we want the success, but we also want the happiness and the fulfillment so that we can feel good running our business. I've got the 3 secrets the business gurus never talk about in this guide, and you can grab it at BeTheWolfGift.com. So open up your browsers, do it now, get on my mailing list. You'll get access to more tips, more things, all of the things that will help you to uncover this stuff that's really in the way of your business not getting where you want it to be. Again, BeTheWolfGift.com. We'll see you all next time. And remember, when you unleash the power of you, humanity evolves. We'll see you later. Bye, everyone.